All right, everybody, we are live. We got Bengals Chiefs going. Game of the week on CBS here, as the Bengals have it at second and goal from the 4-yard line of the Chiefs after a huge fourth down conversion that they got against a huge fourth down conversion. They hit Mike Gesicki for over 30 yards to get it set up with the first and goal. Going to go ahead and give me just a second to send this link because we're going to have somebody else tuning in with us. Give me just a second. It's third and goal, still at the 4 here for Cincinnati. After a bad loss for them last week, Jamar Chase back in the lineup this week, and there's going to be a timeout by the Bengals as the play clock was ticking down. But Jamar Chase back in here with them back for this game. Did not play last game. T. Higgins still out, like we just mentioned. Still don't have him yet. But a third and goal here. Cincinnati burns their first timeout. Getting the link sent real quick, and then we'll be good to roll. Bear with me just a moment. All right, there we go. Got the link sent to him. He'll be joining us here shortly. As on fourth and goal now, the Bengals will kick a field goal. McPherson puts 3 up on the board. Solid first drive from Cincinnati. Obviously would have wanted to pay it off with a touchdown. You get down to 4, but you'll take the points. It'll be all right, and that's all you need. There we go. Gotcha, man.
Well, can you hear me this time?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. I might be a little bit ahead of you just by the way because I don't get cable, so I just have one of those free portable antennas, so I actually get CBS in, so I might be a little bit ahead of you.
All good. You're all good, which mine's deciding it wants to lag and be stupid, so.
So, if you're still there, since we just kind of started this, quick question for you, since we're not revolving around NFL, but do you think committee made the right move with Texas jumping Georgia to be number 1?
I do. I mean, you look at Georgia, they went and struggled against the Kentucky team that got blown out the week before by South Carolina. I mean, I think it was the right move to put Texas ahead. Texas also has the better win of the two when they went and destroyed Michigan at Michigan's place. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think that is the right move to have been made, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with them doing that. That's probably how I would have it too. And it doesn't at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you rank them right now, because pretty soon they're going to play each other, and we're going to find out who should be ranked number one and who should be ranked number two. We'll find out eventually, because they play, I believe, in October, so it'll be coming up shortly.
Well, we're back now. At least I just got back from ad, so Ravens just
Do you think
lost
they?
as well.
So what do you think? Do you think they made the right? Is that how you would rank it as well?
Yes, because personally, I thought, if all these rumors going around about this SEC bias and all that, because as the kickoff as a touchback, all this SEC bias, and with ESPN hosting the playoff polls once we get to that point, and all that, and everybody says ESPN has a lot of influence on it because they host it and they can't let an SEC team go without being in the playoffs and yada yada yada. The only thing, I think it was definitely the right move, especially of how their backup QB played. Granted, it was against UTSA, but to come in that situation as well with Quinn Ewers being hurt, hopefully he won't be out too long either. The only thing I think I might change is, why is there 4 SEC teams? I should say 3 SEC teams. No, hold on, let me change that. What is it, like 7 or 8 of the top 10 teams are from the SEC, if I'm not mistaken?
And I don't know the exact number for this week, but I know last week 6 of the top 7 were from the SEC. The only one who wasn't was Ohio State at number 3, and it's like,
Penn State should
I
be,
mean, then again, when you look at the rankings, that's about how they should be.
I mean, if you really think about it, Penn State should have moved into the top 7 the way they beat West Virginia, if you ask me. But
it was easy to say that then, but it is harder to say that now, considering West Virginia just lost to a pretty bad Pitt team. And they didn't just lose to them, but they managed to completely blow the game in the last 4 minutes. They were up by 10 points and somehow lost. So, it's one of those things. It's like, is it really?
Well, here's the thing.
And again, it's early in the season. I don't even care what the AP rankings put out and decide, because at the end of the day, they don't matter. The ones that are going to matter are going to be the college football playoff rankings. So I wouldn't look into them too much to begin with. I don't really care what the AP thinks, because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't matter. It's just something for us to have until the playoff rankings come out.
Well, the main issue, there's only one real worry I have with Texas jumping Georgia. And that is, I understand they won the Michigan and blew Michigan out of the water. Granted, that's the biggest stadium in college football, arguably the loudest stadium in college football. But we really got to ask, is Michigan truly a top 25 team? They're not.
They are at the moment, and so that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what's going to happen, because if you base it on what's going to happen later in the year, then you wouldn't rank the teams based off what they are now. You would rank them based off how you predict them. And so as of right now, Texas's win over Michigan is the best win in the country.
Tell me you see Marvin
as of right now,
now.
Texas is a top 20. I mean, Michigan's a top 20 team. Now, will that win be as big later in the year? No, but right now it is, because you have to base it off what it is right now.
Did you please tell me you just saw Marvin's stats on the ticker?
I did.
That's ridiculous.
Insane.
In the first quarter alone. Well, I think its highlights will be more than just a wide open missed touchdown pass last week.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Oh yeah, here's a question that I've been getting asked a lot. Is it time that we need to start considering Jeremiah Smith a top 10 Heisman contender?
Possibly. I think the only problem is it, it's hard. He's probably not going to win it or finish as a finalist for it just because it's a quarterback award. But I would, and obviously, I want to see him against a real defense first. Because I mean, it's kind of the same thing when people talk about Jackson Dart. Like, yeah, they're putting up great numbers, but they haven't played anybody, any serious team yet at all.
And you could say the same thing about Quinn Ewers as well.
Yeah, although I
Like,
will say he
pretty
did
much.
play Michigan, and Michigan may not be a top 25 team, but their defense is top 10, top 12 in the country. And so you do have to give him credit for that. I'll give Quinn Ewers credit for that, but pretty much everybody else that's there, they either one haven't played a good team yet, or like in Shador Sanders' case, haven't performed against the good team they have played.
I will say everybody's saying that as Mahomes slips out right inside the 10, first and not quite first and goal, Kansas City, they can get a first down inside the 5. The thing with Travis Hunter winning Heisman, I see all this all over community and all this. Oh, Travis Hunter for Heisman. I understand people don't quite get the fashion of the more what am I thinking of here? The more casual fans don't quite really understand the knowledge of the team has to be a highly high in the top 25 to really be considered as a Heisman candidate. And I know Travis Hunter plays on both sides of the ball, but it's to the point where I understand he's talented and all that, but it's just, do you really want to give a guy a Heisman Trophy that will be on a 6-6 team that will not even make an impact?
If even a 6-6 team, and I think you can have, I think that you can have a Heisman winner from teams who aren't necessarily in the playoff, or like an 8-4 team with the Heisman winner. You could see that, or like LSU last year with Daniels. They went, I believe, 10-2, 9-3. He won the
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy. I could see something like that. I could understand something like that. But a team like Colorado, if they probably not even going to make a bowl game this year. If they do, it'll be just barely. And it's like, do you really want to give the Heisman Trophy to this guy? Personally, I wouldn't, because he didn't play in any meaningful game. Like, to me, you need to have a Heisman moment, a big time play in a big game. Well, the problem for Colorado is they're not really going to be in any big games. They'll be hyped up because of who their coach is and just all the attention that they get. But at the end of the day, it's not actually a big game because they're not a good football team. So to have a big game, I feel like you need to be a good team, playing another good team. So like a Quinn Ewers could have his Heisman moment in the Texas Georgia game, something like that. But I don't think that Hunter's going to get that opportunity.
Well, I will say that's part of the deal with it, but I will say another thing that I kind of think is blown out of context is, in my opinion, personally, Nebraska's win over Colorado has been taken way out of context for, on how good Nebraska is, considering how bad Colorado truly is against Power 5 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great win for Nebraska, not because they beat a good team in Colorado, because I don't think, like I just said, I don't think Colorado is a very good team. But I think it was a big win for Nebraska because, this is a team that I believe, got blown out pretty bad by Colorado last year. And that's kind of when all the hype really built after they beat TCU at home or on the road in week 1. It was a good win for Nebraska because Raiola looked good. And just overall as a team, they looked like, they look like they can go win those kind of games because I mean, it was it wasn't a big game, but it was a very hyped up game, and there was a lot of pressure, I would say, that was on Nebraska just because of all the stuff going on with
Why is Casey
Colorado,
not going
and
for it?
so. But I think that I do think that it was a good win for Nebraska
No, I
because
will
it's going to be
say they're
fourth and goal from the 1 here for the Chiefs, and they're going to go for it, I
kicking,
believe.
they're kicking it.
Yep, here there
Kicked
comes the
up and
field goal
good.
again.
I would have went
Yeah,
for
I'm
it there
just a
if I
little
was
bit
Kansas
behind.
City, but
Yeah, I'm just a little bit behind you.
I will say the Patrick Mahomes still all the stuff with Patrick Mahomes calling him little cuzzo and Dylan Raiola even now it just to the point where he's mocking Patrick Mahomes when he runs onto the field and all of that. It's starting to get to the point where it just feels weird.
It kind of does. I think he's getting a little too carried away with it. I don't know. I don't know.
Once I mean, because they don't really play another decent team. What I mean by decent is, a team even close to the caliber of Colorado to Ohio State's. If you really look at their schedule, they play Illinois next week, which to be fair, they did beat Kansas. But to be fair, Kansas uh, was coming off of a loss from another team, off of a back-to-back upsets for Kansas. So I would assume their season is done. Unless they make it to the Big 12 championship. But they will not play another team as good as Colorado or better than Colorado until they go to Ohio State.
I agree. Yeah, they won't.
And I can guarantee you right now, with how he's acting right now, I know, Raiola likes to run his mouth sometimes here and there. I have a feeling his welcome college football moment, not in a good way, will most likely be against Ohio State with the way their schedule is put out right now.
I agree, but what I've also seen from him, Nebraska could play that game and come away with a win. It's going to be difficult, but I could see them coming out of that game with a win. Obviously, it depends on how he plays. It's all going to come down to him. But if he can make plays in that game, and he definitely has the talent too, Nebraska could be in a slugfest with Ohio State in that one.
Well, also keep in mind, if Ohio State loses to Oregon, because they have Oregon, then they have a bye week, then they play Nebraska. They could easily they will be headhunting Nebraska if they lose to Oregon. You can count me on that.
I
Home
agree.
game, Scarlet the Shoe, coming off of a loss to Oregon, they will be headhunting if they lose to Oregon.
Thing is, I don't know if they're going to lose to Oregon the way Oregon's looked here recently.
I mean, they just blew Oregon State out of the water, though. So
They did. They did. It seemed like it really came together for them last week. But until that game, they had struggled so far this year.
man, Justin Fields driving the Steelers right down the field. Ironically.
So both teams go down the field, get the ball with first and goal, and come away with field goals out of it. That's where we sit right now, 3-3 in this one.
So I will say, what do you think? Getting on the NFL train here now, since we're obviously this is NFL, not college. What do you think about the Ravens falling to the Raiders today?
They didn't have an answer for Devontae Adams. Late in the game, Minshew and Adams started hooking up, and that's what killed the Ravens in that one. It was just chunk play after chunk play after chunk play to Adams. I think the Ravens could be potentially in some trouble. I think they need to regroup and get it together. Obviously, we're just in week 2, so nothing too serious yet. Even though they've started 0-2, that's especially in the NFL. That's something that you can easily come back from, but they're gonna have to get ready because it's not gonna get any easier. That's for sure for them. So they're gonna need to be ready to play.
Well, I will say, with how things are going right now, if the Ravens keep ailing, they're 0-2 right now. Bengals are 0-1, potentially 0-2 today, or 1-1. Browns won today over Jacksonville, 13-18. And obviously, Steelers taking on the Broncos right now. They're up 7-0 late in the first, so that game's pending right now. If the Ravens and Cincinnati keep trending the way they are right now, do you think this is the Browns' year to potentially win the AFC North?
It could be. It's going to depend on Watson. He obviously had a bad game last week against the Cowboys. Was just terrible in that one. Had a solid game in this one. It wasn't the best game, but he had a solid game. Again, wasn't very good, but it wasn't bad either. And so it really is just going to come down to what Deshaun Watson can do, because he will be the guy that determines it all for him. And just what he's able to do will determine how it all goes and how it all plays out.
And if we really want to be fair, you also got to account the Browns were playing without their starting left tackle today as well. So that doesn't help them. They were also playing without Nick Chubb and David Njoku as well.
Yeah.
And also,
excuse me. And I think when Nick Chubb comes back, it'll make things easier for that offense. I think getting him back will be huge for him. And seeing what he's able to do. But until then, you just got to find. And again, it doesn't matter how pretty of a win it is. You just got to find ways to keep winning the games. And I have no doubt that they'll be able to do that.
I mean, the Browns play the Giants next week, so at home. So that you think should be a win for the Browns.
I think so. I think the Browns could potentially win the division. Obviously, it's going to be tough because, this is the toughest division in football. The Steelers are solid. The Browns are solid. And then you got the favorites and the Bengals and the Ravens. So it's tough. It's tough. But I think if you're the Browns, if you can win all your home games against division opponents and steal 1 or 2 on the road, then you'll obviously be in a great spot. And I think that's something that they can do. But we'll see, because another thing too is Lamar Jackson. He's a killer in the division. He just is. He's been the best in the division, and he just finds a way to win those division games. And so that's something that I could see really, really playing a factor too. If I had to pick a team right now, I would probably pick the Ravens, despite them being 0-2. Especially in that, the Steelers might end up being 2-0 to start, but I don't think that it's going to be something where it comes down to the 3 teams at the end. I think that the Browns will finish third. I think they'll be a little bit behind the Bengals, but I think the Ravens will be a decent ways ahead. But I do think it'll be very competitive, very fun to keep up with and watch. And again, like I said, it's the toughest division. I still think the Browns are a playoff team. If they can, figure that defense out a little bit more from the Cowboy loss. They looked better today, but still need to get completely better. But it's something. I still feel they're a playoff team. I just don't think that they're good enough to win the division.
Well, Taylor Counters at 1. And Mahomes just threw it right to the defense, intercepted. 35. Brought down at the 32.
And those are the plays in the game that you got to make if you want to win on both sides of the football. Right now, the Bengals, that's something that could be huge. The Bengals, they got the interception. That could be big for them.
Trying to throw it to Kelsey, and he just never saw the linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, that could be big for them. That could be the difference in the football game.
I will say, Marvin Harrison Jr. owners on fantasy football, if you sat him today after his performance last week, you'll probably they won't be very happy.
No, definitely not. I got a big week from Kamara this week. 44 points. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I
Huge
had
game from
Tyreek
him.
Hill.
Yeah, that I got lucky because the guy I'm playing in fantasy, he has Tyreek Hill. Fun Football Podcast, if you're listening. You got me last week in the Eliminator League, but I got you this week in the Dynasty League. So far.
I
Don't
do
want
have
to jinx it.
CJ Stroud this week, though, so.
Yeah, I'm big. I need a big game from Burrow. He's my quarterback, so I need a big game from him as well.
I have CJ, Blake Corum, Tyreek, here's my tight end. I can't remember. I believe it was. I'll have to check my fantasy team sometime. But I made a trade middle of last week to get CJ Stroud and somebody else and a couple picks for Blake Corum and a second round pick next year.
Okay, yeah, that ain't a bad trade.
Because my quarterback before that was Justin Herbert, so.
Okay, yeah, that's not terrible.
Now my backup quarterback's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, see, I have Burrow starting, and I have Jared Goff as the backup.
Good thing you didn't start Jared Goff today.
What's that?
Good thing you didn't have Jared Goff starting today.
Oh, yeah, no. Terrible game from him in the Lions.
Should have traded for Marvin. Dang it. Your graphic went down. I don't know if you took that down or.
Yeah, just getting it back up now. It just went down. Sometimes ESPN will do that. They'll freeze up, and so I had to close the tab out so I could get it unfrozen.
Is there any college games you are looking forward to week 4? I can't believe it's week 4 already.
I know, it's crazy. It's flying by. Let's see. I'm excited for Clemson NC State, obviously, as a Clemson fan. I think that's going to be a great game. Excited for that one.
FSU's going to go to 0-4.
What's that?
FSU's about to be 0-4.
Yeah, not looking good for them. Not looking good for them at all. I'm trying to think. What other?
DJ Ukulele at this point is not even DJU.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of the Friday. Illinois, Nebraska should be a good game Friday night. And even Thursday night, South Alabama, App State. That should be a good one as well.
Isn't this week where they start having games on Wednesdays too?
I mean, Kansas, West Virginia will be a solid game. This is one of those weeks. There isn't very many big games, but one that I am excited to see is USC and Michigan.
I have a
Weakness on
feeling
weakness,
Michigan's
strength
got.
on strength.
I think Michigan, if there is a second loss that they will pick up before they play Ohio State, it would be against USC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Utah, Oklahoma State will be a good one as well. You have Tennessee, Oklahoma at night. That'll be a good one. And that's about all we get. I mean, Kansas State, BYU, the late night game.
That
That's
could be
another one could
sneaky
be a
good.
good one. But yeah, not a whole lot of just solid games all the way down, but a pretty good bit.
Well, I will say the one thing I am kind of weirded out of, why is Ohio State Marshall on Big Noon Kickoff?
I have no idea.
I get the publicity of, putting a big name like Ohio State on there and getting to have Marshall on Big Noon Kickoff and all that, but still, why? Put it on Big Ten Network.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they went with it, but hey, I mean, I'm just glad they're not putting Utah, Oklahoma State on Big Noon Kick. The games that you want later in the day.
Big Noon Kickoff is basically guaranteed. Big Noon Kickoff is pretty much only Big Ten, and that's it. It feels like
Yeah, pretty
nowadays.
much. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
They're basically the Big Ten network of Fox. Also, do we know exactly what happened with Tyler Van Dyke yet? I never heard an official report on anything. All I know is
I
it was
haven't either.
his right knee. He couldn't even put any weight on it coming out to the 10. After the 10, he had to be carried back to the locker room. So I would assume, unfortunately, you think he'd be out for a long period of time.
I would assume so, but you never know. You never know. As Cincinnati has it here, second and goal. Burrow looking to throw, get some pressure, rolling around, and just going to throw this one out. Smart play there from Burrow. Bring up third and goal. They're on the Kansas City 4. We'll see if they can punch it in this time. Had to settle for a field goal from the same spot the last time.
Now, I don't know if you watch a little bit of WWE or not or anything like that, but what do you think of not Cody Rhodes, Joe Burrow's going with the Cody Rhodes haircut? I know
I like
everybody's
it.
been talking about that.
I like it. As Burrow drops back on third and goal, and he finds his receiver. Who is that?
You know they're not good when you're literally saying who is that.
I know.
PAT's up and good.
I can't announce his name. That's why I
What's
don't know
his
who it
number?
is. I can't. Number 80. I can't announce his name. Iosovas, something like that.
EVS. I don't know.
Something like that. But the Bengals take the Patrick Mahomes mistake and they turn it into 6 on a great catch and toe drag in the corner in the end zone. The Bengals are up 10-3. Joe Burrow 3-1 in his career against Patrick Mahomes, looking to go 4-1 today. But we're going to take a quick break for the commercial break, and we'll be right back with you guys.
All right, and welcome back. He's from Hawaii. That explains why we can't pronounce his name correctly. Hmm. 3:30 p.m. on CBS, USC, Michigan. Mahomes from his 30 after the horrible new kickoff rule takes the snap, rolling, drops it off to Worthy on the catch, picks up 5, and then taken out of bounds. Xavier to stick figure Worthy.
And man, has Worthy been impressive in that first game. I mean, like the Bengals said, I forget who said it in their secondary. They asked what makes him special, and he said, that he's fast. That's about it, which isn't wrong. He is fast. That's about all it is. He doesn't have elite footwork. He's not going to go over the top all over defenders and maulse people. I mean, he's not very big, but he's fast, and they underestimate that speed because, I mean, as we saw on the last one, he about outran a perfect angle from the Bengals safety. So that speed can play a lot into his game and can make him really hard to guard. And I think especially with a quarterback like Mahomes and an
End
offensive
around with
minded coach
Worthy.
like Andy Reid,
Runs into his own
it's
blocker right
possible.
through his line.
Also, for everybody watching, if you haven't already, go subscribe to the channel. We're 3 subscribers away from hitting 2,000 on American Football Network. I just posted the link in all the chats. So if you guys don't mind clicking that, helping us out, we'd appreciate it.
Bo Nix is going to be Bo Picks again. Mahomes drops it off. Pacheco picks up a yard, taken out of bounds. 3rd and 5. David Bell out the rest of the season for the Browns.
All right, my TV keeps messing up. I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to try and figure this TV out.
Mahomes on 3rd and 5, escaping. He's going to run. He just got the first down by half a yard. Reaching out. Is it just me, or do NFL games got? Is it? Should say, is it just me? And it feels like time in NFL games goes faster, but they take longer. And college games, time goes slower, but they feel like they go faster. Mahomes firing deep. He's got Rice. Touchdown, Kansas City. Go fast. Literally. In his car and on the field. 11-minute drive and only 5 plays. That's got to be wrong. Well, Taylor counters that too. Every single time Chiefs score, we got to show Taylor. And welcome back. The dumb kickoff. Burrow back to pass, firing, Holden gets leveled at their 7-yard gain. Take snap, hands up about the middle, has a first down. You want to jump here again? First and 10 for Cincinnati. Timeout, Bengals. Okay, we're back from timeout. Burrow firing deep. It's all in the Chiefs territory. Burrow fires. Chase on the catch. Another first down. Okay. First and 10 for Cincinnati. Burrow takes the snap with 1 second on the play clock, hands it off for absolutely nothing. It'll be second and 10. Back to pass. Looking. Burrow. Firing deep. Got a man way out of bounds on a flag. How's that ball even catchable? McDuffie on coverage. That ball is way out of bounds and into the stands. Not even catchable. McDuffie probably talking to the ref about the same thing. That ball is not catchable. That ball, once again, not catchable. That ball landed out of bounds. And like 3 feet, 5 feet from Chase. That ball is not catchable. First and 10 for Cincinnati. Back to pass. Burrow firing deep. Got a guy incomplete. Burrow firing end zone, incomplete. Burrow sacked, and Cincinnati will settle for a field goal. Chris Jones. Kick is up, kick is good. And welcome back, as that kick is once again a touchback. Pacheco has a hole running through, guys. Picks up 8. It's minutes. Mahomes, Pacheco again hits a hole and picks up the first down.
All right, I think we got this TV back going, so we'll see. Hopefully we did. What's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you hopping in here for us. Let us know who you cheer for today, Chiefs or the Bengals, as Kansas City has the football down 3, about 3 minutes to go in the game. In the first half. The Bengals the Chiefs right now with the one mistake on the Patrick Mahomes interception. That's been the big difference in the football game so far.
Did you see that?
Pulled back up. Go ahead.
Did you see that? Pass interference they threw against the Chiefs when Burrow fumble on the play, ball's out. Who has it? Bengals have it.
The Bengals have this. This is huge.
Bengals got the fumble.
And that's huge right there. Huge play. Again, another turnover for Kansas City. That's what hurts you in this game.
So my question for you. Did you see that Jamar? Did you see when DeRest threw PI in Kansas City when Joe Burrow was trying to get the ball to Jamar Chase down the sideline at all?
I didn't catch it. No, I just now got the TV back on.
The ball was probably about 3 to 5 feet ahead of Jamar Chase and out of bounds by about 3 to 4 feet, and they called pass interference. I didn't think it was personally catchable.
I saw that a lot yesterday at the South Carolina LSU game. It was there were a lot of pass interference calls on that one that I didn't see the ball was catchable. There were a lot that were called on that one, in that one. So that's kind of been a trend for the weekend, I guess you could say, with these calls.
Well, I will say, it gets to the point where, also, did you see the supposedly ridiculous roughing the passer that everybody was complaining about on Jacksonville today? Where, like, 5 seconds after Deshaun threw it, number 26 safety for Jacksonville just came up and absolutely just plowed him in the back. And everybody was like, that's not roughing the passer. Oh, that's not violent. He was just trying to get to the ball.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it over and over and over again this weekend. Some of these pass interference calls, and you sit there and wonder. You think to yourself, all right, was that pass really even catchable? And it sucks, but you just got to find a way to move on past it, move on from it, because and again, I don't care if it was pass interference or not. It went against the Chiefs. They think they got a questionable call that went against them. Who cares? All they do is get calls that are questionable to go their way. So I really don't care. Honestly, glad to see it go against them, if I'm being honest.
You know, as Taylor says, just got to shake it off. Burrow drops it off, and he's hammered. Jeez, that looked like Derwin James on Travis Kelce. I'll have a question for you here once we hit the 2-minute warning.
Sounds good.
Burrow back to pass, fires, hauled in, first down, Cincinnati, Mike Gesicki, the former New England Patriot. Okay, we're at the 2-minute warning now. So, what I was going to ask you, with obviously the Saints blowing Dallas out of the water today, which is not a good look for the Browns either, but Dallas did not play very well today either, so it wasn't all the Saints. Are the Saints a solidified threat to make it to the playoffs with the way they have been playing in the first two games?
I think when you look at these first two games, the way that offense played, I know last week was against Carolina, and defensively as well, just how they've played overall as a team. I think they are, because I get last week was against Carolina, but to be able to show that you didn't play that way just because of who you were going up against, and you were able to play that way against a good team today in the Dallas Cowboys, a team who very well may finish with the best regular season record. Now, we know they're not going to win anything in the playoffs, but because that's just what Dallas does. But for this team to potentially be like that, that is – I think the Saints are a threat. Right now it's them and the – right now it is them and the Buccaneers who lead that division. So it's possible. It's definitely possible. I could see it. And I think this will be a playoff team in the NFC.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it mainly depends on if Derek Carr stays healthy and how good Olave is this year.
I don't know. So far, he hasn't been great. But we'll see. We'll see. It's something that I think that'll still play out with him, and it's not for a lack of talent or anything from him. It really just comes down to they haven't been able to get him the ball very much this year. And so you're seeing guys like Shaheed step up. Also, when you look at this offense, a big part of this offense has been Alvin Kamara. It just has been. He's been the main guy for this offense, has been him. And so the receivers haven't been great. Derek Carr hasn't been great. They've been good enough, especially when, like I said, you pair in the fact of Kamara maybe having the best start to a season in his career. I mean, he's just been lighting it up. I think in fantasy last week he got me close to 30. This week he got me 44. So I mean, I'm glad I got him on my team. He's usually a guy I target after just because he gets a lot of catches at the running back spot, but I did not expect him to really go this way with it. He's just been insane.
I will say, bit of a shocker in my opinion, with Green Bay beating Indianapolis today.
I mean, hey, they came out, they were able to run the football, and Malik Willis did exactly what they needed him to do. Had a good game, 12 of 14, 126 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's all you needed out of him today. That was a good thing to see. He did what he was able to do. The defense played great. The offense was able to run the football.
Burrow going
Had
deep.
the most rushing yards in a quarter since the Broncos back in like 2011. I believe they ran for like 120 yards in the first quarter on them. So I mean, a huge day for the running backs in the O line. Jacobs had himself a career day for sure. And I think it's something that gives you hope without Jordan Love. It's like, all right, well, we're able to play without him. Obviously, the Colts aren't an elite team, but to know that you're able to beat these kinds of teams is good. It's a good sign for you, and so hopefully they'll be able to keep it going and keep it rolling
And we got two
and go
flags
win
on
again
Kansas
next
City
week.
for what? It appears. Pass interference on the Bengals. Offensive
Wow.
pass interference. You don't really see that every day.
Not really. Yeah, typically you don't.
That was a pick. I see why they threw that there. That's clearly a pick, not even a question.
I'm just glad the referees called it. You see that play leave uncalled too many times. You see it, and as a Clemson fan, hey, I know we ran that play in the national championship game against Alabama to beat them 35-31. The only difference in that one is it was 100% a pick play. We just got a little bit lucky that the Alabama DB initiated the contact first, which made it harder to throw that flag. But without a doubt, it was a pick play. And like I said, we just got a little bit lucky that the Bama defender initiated the contact originally, or else, it would have been called, and we might not have won the football. Which, I mean, we would have kicked a field goal to tie it at that point had it gotten there. But it's something where we definitely got lucky with it.
Field,
We
9
definitely
of
got
11,
lucky with it.
89 yards and a touchdown. Kansas City defense doing their job again, holding them to a field goal attempt, it appears.
Yep. Yeah, I would assume so. 4th and 5 from the KC 30. Going to be a 47-yarder. I would assume that they probably kicked the field goal here.
Yep. They're lining up to kick it. Evan McPherson delayed 22 and 33, made both. 48-yard attempt.
Which is good for me because I have him in fantasy. So
Then
glad to see him getting a lot of opportunities.
Watch him butcher it. Butcher it. And right down the middle. Dang it. I tried to jinx him for you, but I couldn't.
Well, I got him on my team. I don't want him jinxed.
It's all your fantasy
so McPherson
team.
3 for 3 on the day. Butker 1 for 1 on the day. And those turnovers so far have been the difference in the football game. So Cincinnati doing a good job of getting points off turnovers. In this one, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with you guys in just a moment. All right, we are back as the kickoff from McPherson is up and out of bounds for a touchback through the end zone. And Kansas City will start this drive at the 30-yard line. They'll be looking to go get some points before the half. They will get the ball to start the second half. So that'll be, I believe
Travis
they get the
Kelce with
ball.
his first catch of the game here.
Yep, 5-yard gain there for Kelce.
No wonder they haven't been showing. I'm sure you know who.
Thankfully. As yes, the Chiefs will get the ball to start the second half. So if they can go down and get at least just a field goal here, that'll set them up nicely. Yeah, and before that catch from Kelce, had only even been targeted twice.
Mahomes fires, almost sacked. Jordan Pacheco, and he's leveled in bounds. They said he's out of bounds, so they're going to start the clock, but that sure looked like he was down in bounds to me. I need C.J. Stroud to do well tonight. He was down in bounds. Come on, that clock needs to be running. I don't know if you saw it yet, but does he appear to be inbounds or out of bounds to you? To me, he appears to be out of bounds with that elbow down. I meant inbounds with
That's
that
what I
elbow
was thinking.
down.
It looked like he hit out of bounds first. I don't know. It's a close call.
Knowing it's the Chiefs, they'll keep it out of bounds.
Oh, 100%.
You know, even if I'm surprised they didn't throw it off in a passer from Patrick Mahomes even getting hit there. If you're Chiefs fan watching this, you know we're just messing around with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's inbounds all the way. So, if I'm not mistaken, since it's probably going to be ruled inbounds, it was ruled inbounds, so they took it down to 56 seconds.
Which I think after watching the replay, I agree, inbounds. And you only get a yard on the play. Probably would have rather it have just been incomplete.
2.5 officially. Mahomes is sacked. Hendrickson on the sack.
And that's a huge sack there.
If you're the Chiefs at this point, run the ball. If you don't get anything out of it, take it to half. They're passing on 3rd and 19. Mahomes back to pass. He'll run and picks up 10 and runs out of bounds. Oh, wow. Mahomes drains 24 seconds after stepping out of bounds in one step. Breaking news, Quinn Ewers is listed as week to week.
Yeah, that's huge.
68-yard attempt,
But
Harrison
hey,
Bucker. Here we go. 68-yard attempt.
Arch Manning going to get his chance to sign.
And Casey will call a timeout. Are they still going to get Buckers? They're still going for no. They're going for a 68-yard attempt here. I'm not joking.
And that'll be the record if he's able to hit it.
He's hit from 60 before. He has the leg.
But this,
it's a matter of can he get the ball
there. If the Bengals get this ball back, they'll have 24 seconds and a timeout from there on the Chiefs' territory.
No, dang it. Now they'll punt. Come on, Andy.
What was that? You
What?
What was that? Sorry, you cut out.
Come on. I was just like, come on, Reed. We wanted to see it. Don't be surprised if the Bengals come out for this punt, and they won't. And hangs up, and beautiful special teams play to down it at the 2.
And yeah, so now I would assume Cincinnati just hand it off up the middle one time and call it a half. I think you go into the locker room pretty happy with what you did.
Thoughts on Miami jumping Oregon?
I like it. Miami hadn't had trouble with anybody. They've just been steamrolling everybody they've played. They have the better win of the two teams. Well, I take that back. I guess Oregon does with Boise State. But, Miami's been rolling everybody. Oregon's kind of struggled until last week. So I like that. I like Miami jumping Oregon. I think Miami's a real threat. And you talked about Quinn Ewers being week to week. The good news for them is it's 3 weeks before they play anybody of any sort of competition. Next week they get UL Monroe. Then they're going to face Mississippi State at home. And then they'll have a bye week, and then they'll play Oklahoma. So plenty of time for Ewers to get back. But they're going to need him back by that Oklahoma game because then they start a tough stretch. They get Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. They get Georgia at home, on the road at Vanderbilt, who could be a sneaky, solid team. Then Florida at home, on the road at Arkansas, another one of those teams who could be sneaky and catch you napping. Then they get Kentucky at home. And then they have to go on the road to A&M, a game in which I think that they could seriously lose. A&M's going to be better than people have expected them to be. That could be a big game.
Penn State dropping the number 10 is a bit to me.
I don't know. Personally, I'm not a fan of Penn State. They barely survived and should have lost that game to Bowling Green. I'm not a big fan of Penn State. Every single year they do this. They get all this preseason hype just for it to turn into nothing.
But they only played one close game.
They're going to win 10 games. They're going to lose to the best two teams on their schedule, and that'll be that.
You mean the one best team on their schedule?
I was just speaking in general of how the year goes for Penn State.
Big Ten championship this year. There is a decent amount.
I was just speaking in general of how Penn State rolls. They usually go 10-2 and lose to the top two teams on their schedule.
Yeah, but they don't play Michigan this year, so.
Honestly, I don't know if Michigan would beat them this year either.
I think I will say Drew Allard. Not Drew Allard. This Archie Manning and stuff, in my opinion, obviously will probably start the next game and the game after that or something like that. A lot of people, just for the casuals, don't be worried. A lot of people are going to take this. I understand he's talented. I understand all that. But people are going to be taking this Archie Manning elite stuff way, way out of context.
I mean, yeah, and it's going to be a chance for Arch Manning to show what he's got. Real quick on Penn State, I think they lose at USC, and I think they lose to Ohio State at home. I think those will be their two losses. But we've hit halftime. The Bengals up 16-10 in Kansas City. Joe Burrow looking to move to 4-1 in his career versus Mahomes. Look at some scores around the league. Currently, the Cardinals are up 31-3 over the Rams with 8:40 to go in the third quarter in Arizona.
Marvin,
The
have a
Steelers
good
up
day.
10-0 against the Broncos at the half. We mentioned here the one we're doing, the Bengals up 16-10 on the Chiefs. Look at some games that are already completed. The Raiders beat the Ravens 26-23. Browns over the Jaguars 18-13. The Jets pull away from the Titans late 24-17. The Vikings stun the 49ers 23-7. The Chargers pound the Panthers 26-3. It's been over 278 days since the Panthers last won a football game. The Seahawks pull away from the Patriots in overtime 23-20. Saints crush the Cowboys 44-19. Commanders over the Giants 21-18. The Buccaneers upset the Lions 20-16. The Packers without Jordan Love beat the Colts 16-10. And then from Thursday night, the Bills beat the Dolphins. And still ahead tonight on NBC for Sunday Night Football, we have the Bears going on the road against the Texans. Be CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams. Should be a solid matchup. And then tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, the Falcons travel into Philadelphia to face the Eagles. Should be a good game in that one. But we're going to take a break with you guys for half. We'll be right back with you guys for the start of the second half. All right, we are back. Sorry, took us a little bit to get back from the halftime break, but Kansas City driving the football down the field. They got a first and goal on the Cincinnati 2, just the way you want to come out if you're the Chiefs in this one and start this second half with a
Touchdown,
big
KC.
fan with a big drive here. Excuse me, to start the game.
Never mind, half a yard short.
Carson Steele been a nice addition to this Chiefs team. He's made – they're not huge plays, but they're meaningful plays and they're very efficient plays out of him these first two games. Not only that, but the stuff you don't see in the stat sheet, the critical blocks this man has had. He's playing great. I'm happy for him. Now, he did fumble earlier in this game.
I will say, some unfortunate news for the Jets as Jermaine Johnson was carted off the field earlier today.
Yep, I did see that. Unfortunate news. Never want to see anybody go down with injury. So yeah, that's tough to hear for sure. And that one, as the pass to Kelsey, and he'll be dropped at the 1. It'll be second goal from the 1, but Cincinnati player down on the field, I believe that is Sheldon Rankins. Yep, Sheldon Rankins.
Jermaine Johnson, official news, appears to have torn his Achilles.
Man, that's just – you never want to see anybody get a season-ending injury, but you definitely don't want to see them get it in week 2. Like, that's just heartbreaking. You know, you spend all offseason preparing for this year, and now second game of the year, and you're out for the season.
Also, I was going to make a comment on the halftime, but then cut me off a little bit, so I wasn't able to make it. But about the Lions and Tampa Bay game. In my opinion, I know this might shock some people, Tampa Bay beating the Lions was not really an upset.
I think it was an upset just because obviously the Lions are better, but I don't think I think the Buccaneers are a lot better than people. I would still consider it an upset, but I do think the Bucs are a lot better than people think. That they will be. Baker Mayfield seems to be playing at a very high level. Seems to be he's looking like a top 15 NFL quarterback right now, and that's just a fact of it. So huge games from Mayfield early in the season, and they've played great. They've played great. I think the Buccaneers will be a playoff team. I think they're a team that can win a game or two in the playoffs as well.
Touchdown KC, big man offensive lineman. Backup left tackle with a touchdown. Oh, sorry, we'll make a little comment on FSU here. I know sympathy was for FSU, week 1, week 2, just sympathy about, DJ being horrible and all that. But now that they've went to 0-3, all the sympathy for FSU has just turned on its head.
I mean, yeah, for Florida State, as a Clemson fan, Dabo's our coach. He gets a lot of crap for not using the transfer portal, which is kind of understandable. At times, there's definitely been some positions in years past where we could have upgraded with the transfer portal. But Norvell is showing why you can't use the transfer portal as recruiting, because that's great. It worked last year. They bring in Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson out of the transfer portal. All these transfers come in. Well, now they're gone, and you haven't developed anybody behind them, and you weren't able to replace those guys you weren't able to replace those guys in the portal this year, and now look where you're at. You went from 13-1 last year to 0-3 this year, and you got a tough schedule ahead of you. I'll pull the schedule up. I don't remember it completely off the top of my head, but you got to play Clemson.
Cal is
Probably going to lose that
Cal
game.
next.
You have to play Miami. Probably going to lose that game. I'm pulling up their full schedule now.
Got to play Florida.
So, yeah, what's left for them? I mean, you get Cal at home next week. The way that the teams have been able to run the football on you, Jade Knott might run for 300 yards in this game. I'm not saying Cal's going to win, but it's, I could see them win. It wouldn't shock me at all if they did. Then the next week you got to go on the road to SMU, which since benching Preston Stone, they looked great last game. Then you get Clemson at home. You got to go on the road to Duke, on the road to Miami, North Carolina at home, on the road to Notre Dame, Charleston Southern at home, and Florida at home.
Deep.
That game against Florida at home is going to be a terrible game.
One play. Bengals already down to the Chiefs 20. Jermaine Burton on the catch. Didn't he get drafted by the Bengals? Jermaine Burton, I believe that was on the catch. Yep. Burrow. Fumble. Covered by Burrow. So we had a MAC SEC upset Saturday. I'm sure you know where this is going. But you know you're bad when you're in the SEC.
A
Power
huge
5
pass
conference.
there to Burton.
You know you're bad when you're in a Power 5 conference and you lose 41-17 to a MAC team.
Yeah, not a good look.
Everyone's saying the SEC is better than the Big Ten. Well, heck, the MAC might be better than the SEC. Obviously joking, but aside from the rankings, who, in your opinion, aside from the rankings, has been the most consistently good conference so far this season?
I think it's hard. I think either the Big 12 or the SEC, just in terms of all the way through the conference, I think have been the most consistent. Probably I would say the SEC. I mean, they've played the best so far. Again, they've had some bad losses in the mix in there, but for the most part, they've played the most consistent and the best. I would say so far this year. I also think the SEC will be the most competitive conference. I think that determining the conference champion in that one, and just who even makes the conference championship, will be a lot more teams involved than the other conferences will be.
What do you?
I think we could be 10 games into the season still trying to figure out who the two teams are going to be for the SEC championship. That wouldn't shock me at all. As Burrow, hard run there, gets a nice push, picks up the first down on 3rd and 2. And the Bengals have gone down the field as well, as they're now down 2nd and 2 on the 3-yard line.
What do you think of the Pac-12 surviving somehow and being reborn in 2026?
Well, they haven't fully survived. They still need 2 more teams before the 2027 season to be a conference. But I think that what the move that they made was a good ad. I think that'll also help attract more teams Um, I would be interested in seeing maybe a North Dakota State and South Dakota State move up and join the Pac-12. I think that wouldn't be a bad move. But the Pac-12 definitely going to go get some more teams. Wyoming wouldn't be a bad addition. Um,
Northern
then maybe
Illinois
North
after
Dakota
they
State,
beat.
South Dakota State jump in and join the Mountain West. I could see that. I could see that playing out. But I think it's a good move. Originally, you still got to get two more. But I do think it's a good move so far.
What do you think about potentially adding uh, Northern Illinois after they beat Notre Dame?
I could see it. I think Northern Illinois. Obviously, they're in the driver's seat right now in terms of the group of five in the playoff with their win, beating number 5 Notre Dame. But it's one of those, they upset Notre Dame, but how good are they really going to be, and are they going to sustain any of this? Like, don't get me wrong, they're a good MAC team, and they were last year as well. But it's like it, to consider moving up, I feel like you got to do more than just that.
Well, I think you can rule out the military schools out of that conversation because they kind of have always been their own independent conference school, if you kind of want to say that. And I think they'll probably stay that way forever or
Well,
a
not
very
really.
long.
All three of them are in a conference, so not really. I could see Air Force joining the Pac-12. They're in the Mountain West right now. I could see them joining the Pac-12. I don't think
Heck,
that would be a bad pickup.
with how bad Notre Dame is with losing at least 3-4 games every year, they wouldn't be a bad fit for the Pac-12 either.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, to be fair, I think
not a terrible fit.
the end game for Notre Dame, if I'm being honest, is probably the Big Ten. It's got to be the Big Ten if you're
It,
Notre
dep-
Dame. You would have to think.
it it depends what happens with the ACC.
Well, I can tell
If
you
the
right now,
ACC keeps Clemson, if the ACC keeps Clemson and Florida State, the only way they do that is by getting a new TV deal, which brings in more money. And eventually, if it turns into something where those three leagues break off into sort of like a super league type deal, I think Notre Dame would be in the ACC. Um, but I think the end game is the SEC and the Big Ten end up combining into sort of like a super league, sort of breaking away from the NCAA just for football, and ending up sort of creating their own little thing.
well, I will say if we're being honest, with Florida State's bad turnaround here, obviously to start this year, I know everybody, that lawsuit that's been going on between Florida State and the ACC and all that for Florida State to try and get out of the ACC. Um, you got to wonder if you're Florida State, if you'd even want to try and get out of the ACC at this point, based on how their performance this year has been.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's the funniest part about this Florida State whole deal is that they've spent all offseason talking about they're too good for their conference, and now they're 0-3 and have lost to two teams who haven't been very good in recent years in the conference. So it's definitely been fun, and then losing to a group of five, Norvell's old team, Memphis, and they're already 0-2 in the ACC. They're losing at least three more games in conference play. They're going to finish the season with at least 5 losses in ACC play. They'll lose to Clemson. They'll lose to Miami, and they'll along the way. Um,
Also, the Steelers
they,
are about to improve to 2-0.
it's not end up at 1-11 with that only coming to Charleston Southern. They're not they're not. I wouldn't favor them by more than about 55% in any of these games remaining.
I think there's a decent shot, to be honest, that Florida State goes 0-12.
I doubt they go 0-12 just because they do play Charleston Southern. But I go
Oh, trust me,
1-11.
with DJ, they'll probably find a way to blow that game. Also, some more unfortunate breaking injury news. Cooper Kupp doubtful to return to the Rams game with an ankle injury.
You said will not return?
Doubtful to return, which basically
Okay.
means he's
Yeah,
not
that's what I
going to.
thought I saw earlier. I didn't know if he'd been officially ruled out or not yet. As Burrow on the QB sneak going to pick up a first down to
Third
the
and goal,
1 yard
Burrow
line for the
looking,
Bengals.
pitching. Incomplete, fourth and goal, no flags. Cook on the coverage. Do we have a final score yet? I'm going to go with Kansas City 34, Cincinnati, assuming they go for the field goal here. They're going for it. I don't know. Hold on, we'll have to find out. They're going for it. Burrow, back to pass, looking. All day to throw. Files, end zone, touchdown, Cincinnati. I Violus again. How you pronounce his name?
Bengals 20. Let's see, 20. I'll say 29-24.
Bengals, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Did he step out of bounds, or is that the defender? Anyhow, PAT up and good. Just barely. No good. That PAT looked good to me from McPherson. You have to let me know what you think, but that sure did look good from the angle I got. That's right over the goalpost. That should be good. Bit of a fun fact here for people, casual fans. If it goes directly right over the top of the goalpost, it is ruled as a good kick.
Yeah, I think he
That look
missed that one just right. That's a good call.
that is the definition of a game of inches.
How
Heck,
about
a
the
game of
Cardinals up
centimeters.
41? How about the Cardinals? They're just killing the Rams. They just
Well, it
scored
doesn't help
again,
when they don't
and
have
they're up
Cooper Kupp or
41 to
Puka
10.
Nacua. Well, it doesn't help when you're not
Yeah,
when you're
Cardinals
playing
up
without.
41 to 10 on the Rams. Steelers up 13 to nothing over the Broncos. Our game Bengals up 22-17 on the Chiefs. And tonight we get Bears Texans. That should be a good one as well.
Be interesting to see if Caleb Williams can throw for more than 91 yards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does against this Texans defense.
Hot take here. Texans have the best roster in the NFL.
But I think they have a roster, but I don't think it's the best roster in the.
Well, I will say, if we're talking offensive roster, by far they had the best roster in the NFL overall. I would say at least. I mean,
I'm not very
Stephon
on
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
People took some of that Stephon Diggs stuff out of context. Like, Bro's already complained, even though he was just giving advice to CJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boots away as I hate this kickoff. It's ruined the game of the kickoff in the NFL, in my opinion. At this point, just take the kickoff out of the game and just put the ball in the 25. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but I absolutely think this kickoff is utterly atrocious.
I don't know. I mean, I don't like it, but it's safer.
If the NFL wants stuff to be safer, just take the kickoff out of the game. Mahomes, empty backfield, swings out. Rice, he knows how to go fast in multiple ways, taking down at their yard. Rice knows how to drive fast and run fast. Third and 4. Mahomes. Worthy in motion, takes snap, back to pass. Looking, firing deep. He's got a man, and it's intercepted. There is a flag. Turner on the pick. It appears it's going to be against the Bengals. That's a killer if it is. Illegal contact on Cincinnati. You don't see that every day.
Bring up a first and the Chiefs.
Just a heads up, you are breaking up quite a bit. Mahomes, another flag out, gets it away. Pacheco picks up 9. Holding on the Chiefs this time. On Kingsley Sumatata. Number 76, the offensive guard. Oh no, another Hawaiian name, it appears. Also, it feels like Romo Dunze and Malik Neighbors have just completely fallen off the earth since they've been drafted. Mahomes firing deep. One-handed interception. How? Cam Taylor-Britt got beat earlier. That might be better than a USC catch. And we'll turn ad break.
That interception's huge. Again, Cincinnati is finding ways to win the turnover battle. That's the three of them now that they have. Two interceptions from Mahomes, a fumble recovery, and I mean the Bengals are just coming out and they're just outplaying them. And what a response from Cincinnati as well after losing pretty badly last a pretty bad game last week to the Patriots. Wasn't very good of a game for the Bengals, but what a way to respond so far in this one. Now, still a quarter of football to play. You're only up 5. You got to go finish here, but this could shape up to be a good one.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, with the Bengals being up 5 right now, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. It's 17-22. Yep. So 5-point game right now. Obviously, Bengals had the ball. This might be the most important drive of the game for the Chiefs defense right here.
It very well could be. Whatever you do, but we're going to you guys at the for
And welcome back here. Flashback to the OBJ catch in 2014. Burrow under center. Takes the snap, back to pass, looking, floats it, and it's flat out dropped by Gesicki. Then tries to take a seat in the Microsoft desk, does not work out either. He has at least 5 more yards there on the catch and run, probably, if he hauls that in. Huge drop. Burrow today, 16-27, 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. Burrow in the shotgun. 1 to play clock gets snapped. Back to pass. Looking. Just dumps it. It'll be 3rd and 10. Chris Jones was all over that for KC. 3rd and 10 for Cincinnati. KC defense trying to hold Cincinnati to a 3-and-out and respond beautifully on the quick change here. I wouldn't necessarily call it quick change, but Burrow back to pass, looking, and he's brought down. Ball's out. Chiefs have it. He's returning it. Touchdown, KC. As of right now, it is a KC touchdown on the fumble return. Scoop and score. Regardless, it is fourth down no matter what. It's out. The ball is out. That is going to stand. It should stand. And it should be a Kansas City Chiefs touchdown on a scoop and score. Casey going for two. Dose. Back to pass. Mahomes looking, rolling, looking. All day to throw. Lobs it. End zone. Incomplete. Intended for Xavier Worthy. 14:40 left in the fourth. Cincinnati 22, KC 23. We got a ball game now. Welcome back here. KC up 23-22. And this will be returnable. He said 20-25. Makes a man miss to the 30 and brought down to 33. And we got fisting and pushing going on. Joe Burrow on the sack. Loses the football. Gives it up to KC for the scoop and score. There's reasons for why he transferred to LSU instead of played at Ohio State. Burrow takes snap, hands off up the middle, makes a man miss. Kicks up 5 on the carry. That's Brown. 252 total yards for KC, 251 for Cincinnati. Back to pass. Burrow drops it off. Makes a man miss. He's got first down anymore. 45-50 into KC territory out the Kansas City 49. Remember, T. Higgins not playing today for Cincinnati. Brock Bowers with a big day today. Second and 7 for Cincinnati. Just get snap off. Fires out. Chase has it. First down and more. Down to the KC 33. First and 10 for the Bengals. Burrow. Back to pass. Flag on the play. Makes a man missed. Brought down from behind after picking up a yard. Back to pass. Looking. Swinging out. Leaping over a man doing a somersault. Swings out. Chase. Brought down after 5. A flag on Jamar Chase. Now Burrow chewing out Chase. Third and 22 for Cincinnati. Burrow in a shotgun. Myers caught 10 yards. 4th and 12. $53-yard attempt. Up. Good. Okay, we're back now. Okay, we are back now. Third and 20 for Kansas City. Back to pass, swings out the right. He's got a lane. He's got 10 and body slammed. KC will have to punt with 7:30 clock right in the fourth. And I will be back in a moment. And we'll go to an ad break. All right, welcome back here. 3rd and 5 for Cincinnati coming up. Under 6 to go. Cincinnati up 25-23. Fires. I don't think he got there. They'll give him the first down. At the middle, he's got a hole. You got Lane. Picks up 12 on a carry for the Bengals. Hands it off. Burrow. To Brown. Picks up about 4. Burrow fires. Incomplete. Almost intercepted. Burrow. Indy sacked. Boots away. Nice boot. Holding at 15. Turns it to 20. Brought down it to 25. .235, 3 timeouts, and 2-minute warning from Mahomes and the Chiefs to go down and just kick a field goal to win this game. Rice has a first down and more to the 42. And we'll go to a 2-minute warning. And we'll be back. And welcome back. 2 minutes ago in regulation. Chiefs down by 2. $20 more yards and the Chiefs are in field goal range. Mahomes hands it off at the middle, picks up nothing. And Pacheco's hobbled. Mahomes looking, firing, incomplete. 3rd and 9. Mahomes drops it off. 4 yards, 3 yards. It'll be 4th and 6 for KC. Game is on the line right here. Fourth and 6 for Kansas City. Here's the game. 1 minute to go, clock running. Under a minute now. Mahomes in the shotgun, running back in the backfield on the tip. Timeout. Cincinnati. 53 seconds to go in the game. KC 23, Cincinnati 25. 4th and 6 for Kansas City and Mahomes. Game on the line with this snap right here. Technically not because, but still technically yes. Here's the game, folks. Burrow watching from the sideline. Mahomes in the shotgun. Running back on his left hip. 3 wide receivers out left. 1 out wide right. Kelsey in motion. Mahomes back to pass. Looking. Fires. There's a flag down. First down by Rice and more down to the 34. But there is a flag. But what is the flag? A legal block on the back on Kansas City. On Morris. Kansas City was in field goal range. So 4th and 16 for Kansas City. Now they need 16 with 48 seconds to go. Here is the game on the line. Mahomes, empty backfield. 3 out wide left, 2 out wide right. And timeout. Cincinnati, their last timeout. Steelers are going to improve to 2-0, winning 13-6 over Denver. If the Steelers play quality offense, or even the offense like the Browns say, they would not. You wouldn't think they would win, but you don't know. So here we go again. Bengals out of timeouts now. Declining that timeout. All 4 Burrow versus Mahomes meetings decide by 3 points, including the playoffs. This one could be decided by 2. 48 seconds left. Mahomes empty backfield. Takes the snap. Back to pass. Looking all day. Steps up in the pocket. Out left. He's going to fire deep. And it's incomplete. And there's a late flag. And it's going to be on Cincinnati for pass interference. For absolutely no reason, it appears. Bailing Mahomes out once again. Pass interference on the Bengals for absolutely no reason. Once again, Mahomes and the Chiefs being guided by the refs to another win. He bumped them in the back, and they're going to call pass interference on the Bengals, and that very well may have just cost them the game for accidentally bumping into somebody's back. They throw PI on the Bengals. The star treatment Kansas City gets is just ugly, ridiculous sometimes. What a bad way to decide the game as Mahomes throws it away. Once again, as KC makes this kick, 2nd and 10 for KC, 32 seconds left. If KC makes this kick, what another great game ruined once again by the refs. Burrow visibly ticked off, slamming his helmet down on the sideline. Ticky-tacky call. They'll hand it off. He'll pick up 3, maybe 2, maybe 3. And now they will let the clock roll, and it comes down to the leg of Harrison Butker. From here, this would be about a 50-yard attempt or a little bit more. Timeout, Kansas City. With 17 seconds to go. All I'll say is if this kick goes in from Harrison Butker, if they do run him out there, they add a second to the clock, so 18 seconds. I think if you're Kansas City, you probably spot the ball to where your kicker wants it, and then you run Butker out there. I think it's probably the plan for KC with them coming out here with the offense. So they pick up another yard. So it'll be 4th down and 7 for KC. So about a 50-yard attempt by Harrison Butker to give Kansas City the win as time expires. Here we go. And I just want to voice this one more time. He's got 10 career game-winning field goals last January 7th at the Chargers. If this kick goes in for Kansas City, it's just another great football game ruined by the refs. I understand there's contact early, but that is a ticky-tack call. You don't make the refs should not be deciding these games and games like this. 51-yard attempt to give KC the win. Kick is up, and it's right down the middle. Kansas City wins because of the refs. So that's all we have for you today. I don't know if he'll come back on and give you any stats or not, but thank you for watching, and I'm out. Well, I will just say quick since apparently it ain't over yet. This game, good game, but it's 4th and 16. It's a jump ball. Mahomes throws on the run. And